Oh, God, here we go again. Britain is set to pay Libya £1 million to help return African migrants to the country of origin. The illegal immigration minister, Michael Tomlinson, says the pioneering scheme involving the voluntary returns was a fundamental tool in driving down migration numbers. But questions have been raised over whether the UK should be funding this deal in the first place. Excuse me, I just bashed my head against the desk. Join me if you like. Talking this one through is a former Labour advisor, Scarlett Maguire, and co-deputy leader of Reform UK, Ben Habib. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad I got two very intelligent political brains to explain what's going on. Ben, I mean, we just seem to be handing money over to any country that comes along now saying they can help us out. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, £1 million is modest by comparison to the, hundreds of millions we've handed France for not stopping the boats. But I think the idea behind this is that it's difficult for us to return people to their country of origin because of the Human Rights Act and the European Convention of Human Rights, of which we're a member, and their court is our most superior court for human rights. So to get Libya to do it, and I think that where they've got the idea from is what the Australians were doing in Operation Sovereign Borders back in 2013, where they would drive boats back to, literally drive boats back, board them, drive them back to Indonesia, and then Indonesia would do the dirty work of deporting the people back to the countries from which they came. But of course it won't work. It worked for Australia, but it won't work for the United Kingdom because it's a two-pronged process. You've got to push the boats back to Libya or drive them back, in the case, using Australia.
Stop them crossing the Mediterranean.
You've got to stop them there, and you've got to stop them getting across, and then you've got to get them back. And £1 million, frankly, is a drop in the ocean. But the other point to make, and it seems to be lost on Rishi Sunak, is that if you pay people in order to stop a problem, the problem will subsist because they recognise that the minute they actually succeed in stopping the problem, they won't get the lolly. Yeah. So they're embedding bad behaviour by offering up money.
Yeah, even I'd seen that one. Yeah. Even I had to, if they're going to carry on paying me, why would I make this problem go away? Just carry on. Scarlett, I mean, we do seem to be just handing out money like confetti at the moment to solve a problem that doesn't really seem to have a solution.
No, I think this is what's called a performative thing, is that we say we're doing something and nothing's going to happen. I mean, the other thing, I completely agree with everything Ben said, but look, Libya is a failed state. And the big reason Libya is a failed state is what the British government did in it, was that we destroyed admittedly a dictator, and it is basically run by gangs. I don't know why. I mean, these migrants coming in, many of them are kidnapped, are taken. I mean, where the £1 million is going to go is completely beyond me. And then there is this wonderful word, voluntary. These are voluntary repatriations.
That was the one that worried me as well.
No, I mean, if you've come all the way, if you've risked yourself coming into Libya, which is a really, really dangerous country, the odds of you getting through it to a beach, to a boat, you are pretty desperate. Voluntary is not going to be. So Libya will obviously say, well, we'll take the $1 million and look, we're going to send 50 people back. Voluntary probably won't be the word. They'll be kidnapped, they'll be put back. I mean...
They won't even be kidnapped and put back. Some dictator or some warlord will put the £1 million in his back pocket.
Well, precisely.
And the problem will just subsist.
I mean, it just seems complete and utter madness to me that it doesn't even begin to deal with the problem of I mean, if they want to go back anyway...
why are they there in the first place? It's lunacy. What we haven't got, this is where Scarlett and I are going to...
I said that because I thought it was me being genuinely thick, thinking, I don't see this one working.
Well, it won't work. And, I mean, the only way to do it, and Scarlett and I think are going to disagree on this, the only way to enforce one's borders is to enforce one's borders. And it takes unilateral action by every single country, all the way from Italy through to the United Kingdom, to stop people crossing their borders illegally. That's what happened for thousands of years, and we've lost the will, somehow, to protect the territorial integrity of the United Kingdom. And I don't want to speak for Scarlett, but I suspect she's got a humanitarian aspect to it, an argument against what I'm saying. But I think the most humane thing to do is to let these people know in no uncertain terms that they will not be allowed to cross the channel. Because if they get that message that they will be stopped and turned round, they will cease to make attempts to cross the channel.
Our border force, such as it is, and Coast Guard, stops a boat, sends them back to France.
Absolutely.
What if France don't have them back?
Well, because France can't resist it. They seek to enter our territorial waters. We stop them. We stop them at the point of entry. They go back to where they came from.
And this isn't happening. And I mean, the reason things have changed is because of the desperation of people. I mean, 10 years ago, or even 20 years ago, were people risking their lives? I mean, 1,500 people are thought to have died leaving Libya in the last 12 months, right? I mean, it is that journey across the Mediterranean is really desperate. These are absolutely desperate people. They are running from something. Now, I mean, they might think they're running towards something wonderful, but actually, I do not believe that they think that this is the promised land and they're going to be treated incredibly well. So these are desperate people. It's just nothing is going to work. What we have to have is, rather than every little country being a little island to itself and saying, "Oh, we don't have anything to do," is we've actually got to have a European deal on what we do about migration.
But the French, I mean, we have given them quite a bit of money as well. Well, what about Ben's idea, though? I mean, because what seems to happen, right, Scarlett, is that the migrants in the small boats get literally a little way off the French coastline, and then our Coast Guard and Border Force pick them up and bring them over here, even though they're close to France.
Well, no, I think that's right. I mean, this poor child who drowned, just of course, I mean, the boat went straight back. I mean, I don't... But if you were French, right, if you were the French government...
Steady on. Steady on, Scarlett.
OK, but what I don't understand is why we expect the French government... So these people, France doesn't really want them anyway.
No.
France doesn't... They don't want to be in France. And so we are expecting France to say, no, come back to us. I mean, it's never going to work. Well, I mean... And that's why we have to have... We really have to get together and we have to sort out migration as a continent, rather than having Fortress Britain, which we know does not work.
It's not just Fortress Britain. You need Fortress Italy. Italy is one of the biggest culprits here. Meloni won office on the promise that she would stop the boats. Now, there is a big body of water in which those boats could be stopped, boarded like the Australians did, and taken back to Libya.
Ooh, OK, I'm still none the wiser, but we're giving more money to another country that's basically full of crooks, and they're obviously going to spend it wisely, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Anyone else spotted the flaw in this one? Ben Habib, Scarlett Maguire, thank you so much.